feature race for day 2, and arguably for me, it's going to be the feature race of the entire festival, because there is apparently a 2-horse race going on, but as far as I can see, there's only 1 horse that's in it. Shishkin dots up in the champion chase. Literally, there's no point even talking to you, Daryl or Jamie. I mean, unless you want to say anything. Daryl, do you want to say anything?
Well, just that we might get to see the clash earlier than anticipated, with them both entered in the Clarence House chase at Ascot. Now, the reason that's quite important is because I know what Nicky may run scared, or they both might not turn up, but they also both might turn up. And the interesting point about it is if Energumen gets beat there, he will go to the Ryanair, I suspect. So you'll then have Shishkin at probably 1 to 5 in this particular race, if Energumen gets beat and steps up and trip. That is a possibility, Jamie. I don't know why you're shaking your little head. I think it's a cracking race. I've tried to assess
for the little head, Darren.
I've tried to assess it for the last few weeks, right? And it's very, very interesting. For me, Shishkin is an absolute monster. He's brilliant. He's class, right? But at Kempton, and it's not the first time, at Kempton he was slightly outpaced coming around a bend. Now, Kempton's obviously a flat, sharp track. And if you go back and watch his Arkle win, right, between I think it was the 8th and the 9th fence, he was outpaced and he was being asked to go and close on All Mankind and Captain Guinness, who had cut each other's throats at the front end, right? The response was great. It took a while, but he ended up picking them up and going away. Same at Kempton. It took a couple of seconds. I actually had enough time, stupidly admit this, I actually had enough time to go on the exchanges and lay Shishkin because he was being bumped along. Now, the reason I did that is because I thought, oh my God, he's outpacing. Is he going to pick up? Is he going to pick up? Now, it took him a second or two, jumped the fence, then he picked up and he went away. Now, my point being, the horse making the running that day at Kempton was a 147 or 148 rate before midnight, who wouldn't have a hope in hell in this race. It wasn't the 171 rated Energumen making the running. And Energumen has proven he can go at a very high cruising speed. He's definitely going to go from the front, that's for sure. So he's going to have first run on Shishkin. So Shishkin is going to be asked the question to go and pick him up. And the response is going to have to be much better and much faster than it was at Kempton. Now, I know everybody loves him and nobody likes to knock a horse, but you do have to play devil's advocate when it's pretty much a 2-horse race in the Champions Chase, especially when one of the horses is going to essentially get a free lead. And that's going to be the case with Energumen. So I think it's going to be more fascinating tactically wise than the betting might suggest, the 4-5 Shishkin and 5-2 Energumen. I think it could be a bit more close than that. I expect Energumen to trade a little bit shorter in running, and Shishkin to trade a little bit bigger in running. So there might be an angle to play in there on the day. But as for anything else in this race, my goodness me, this is the same as the 2-mile hurdle division. There's absolutely no depth at all. So I don't expect anything else to get involved. I don't even want to play an each way bet and try and grab the third play. I just don't think. I think it's not worth it. I think it's definitely between Shishkin and Energumen. I hope they both go. I hope we both see him. I kind of hope we don't both see him in the Clarence House, which is silly to say because I'd rather save it for this and make this one of the best races of the festival. But I do think there is an angle in running play because I think the markets are going to go like that because Shishkin's going to have to catch Energumen essentially. Nice.
Jamie, how do you see it? Because I know you, whenever I keep saying that Shishkin's a monster, you keep referring to him as the Loch Ness monster. We talk about never see.
Well, I agree with Darren. I agree with Darren. The Clarence House clash is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Energumen's going to win the Clarence House because Shishkin's going to run the game spirit. That's just my opinion. I'm Henderson. I'm a Henderson Butler job. He's not going to run against Energumen in the Clarence House. Energumen will win the Clarence House. No problem at all. I agree with Darren 100% analysis before previous videos, right? What I'm gonna come back to is that has Shishkin ever run a championship pace against since the Supreme Novices when he beat Abracadabras? Has he?
Not really. His Kempton win, I think. Last time.
Yeah, like the Arkle last year was a joke, right? Before that, right? He drifted on the day in the Supreme, right? To 6-1. Obviously, it was a great bet, right? Look, we said years ago, I was balls deep in Abracadabras, right? And it was a bad ride by Davy. Obviously, Elixir Dene fell, Captain Guinness fell on the day, right? My problem is with Shishkin. If Energamy goes really fast, will he keep up?
See, that's the question, because in the back of my mind, my personal opinion is I think he's a 2.5 miler plus. I think I could.
But it's two. But there is two 2.5 milers, two 2.5 milers against each other. And who can sustain the pace? If Energamy goes so quick, Shishkin won't keep up. That's just my opinion.
His jumping does need a little bit of work as well, Shishkin. Like for all, he's an amazing horse, and I don't want this preview to be about knocking him and saying that he's not good. He's an outstanding horse, arguably 100%. One of the best in training. But his jumping, it sometimes can be a little bit bold. It can be a little bit high, and he's going to have to catch Energamy, who's going to be flying through the top of his fences, bang, 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 and. Look, he's one mistake away from not being able to pick him up, because Energamy will be gone.
But the only thing, if you look back at the DRF run last year, right, of Energamy, now I know Leopardstown is all the right-hand side, and all of a sudden it's a left-handed track, but it's all right-hand side down the road, right? Energamy went this way all the time. Slightly, but went this way all the time. I watched it back there before we came on air. This way all the time. It's slight, but the fact of the matter is that I'm going back to the Supreme run. Shishkin was outpacing the Supreme. If Energamy goes so quick in the Supreme, I don't think it will catch that. That's just my opinion.
I guess the main thing is, like Luis, but there is the small doubt that there could be the clash in the Clarence House at Ascot. I'd like to see it, because then everyone that's already bumming Energamy can stop it, Cheltenham publicly, because they'll have already had their arse handed to him. But obviously the betting is up for that race. Nicky Henderson has said that he said it out loud as well, Jamie, but obviously we know not to trust what Nicky Henderson said, but he said that he would rather not run him in the game spirit. Ascot's like the main plan, but then the betting is up, and you've got even money or odds on Energamy, and then you've got 6-4, 2-1 Shishkin. Whereas you look at the Champion Chase, that tells you what the prices really should be between them.
Well, the bookies are giving 2-1 Shishkin, Dave. You know yourself, because they know he won't run.
Exactly, and they're luring people in that are tempted by the price, because it's the wrong way around. It's like I don't think it will happen. I'd like to see it happen, but
I'd love to see it happen, because Energamy will win.
We talked about it as well, didn't we? When we were talking about the Christmassy preview stuff, we said about the Clarence House, didn't we? That obviously Chacun Passoir was coming for the Tingle Creek about travelling, and we said that probably Energamy will come for the Clarence House Chase because he's used it before for Undersoul, that sort of stuff. So like it wasn't as outlandish as other people might be thinking of like an option for him to go in there. But I still stand firm. You talking about the flat spotty bit, Darryl? Like I need to go back and watch those things, because that would be like a genuine concern. I'm not saying I've got to watch back because I don't trust you, but I want to watch it back because it'd be a genuine concern for a horse to be doing those sorts of things.
Yeah. Sorry to jump in. Do you know what bugs me is that a lot of people have been saying, oh, he reminds me of Altior. He hits that little flat spot and then he gets going. The flat spots are a horse being momentarily outpaced. That's what a flat spot is. It's not a positive attribute for a horse to have. And then it's a lot of these TV pundits on terrestrial TV and that will go and tell you that, like Paisley Park, oh, he hits his flat spot and then he stays on really strongly. No, he gets outpaced and then he stays on. And the slight concern was that the likes of Before Midnight 148 and even All Mankind and Captain Guinness, who fell into a hole. Look, it's almost like he might need Energamy to stop. Or not to stop, but to, overdo it. Because I think he'll probably outstay it. Look, he's the best horse in the race, no doubt. But this is undoubtedly
the best race of the festival.
The biggest test of his career.
And I do think, I said it at the start of it, I genuinely do think, obviously we don't see the clash at Ascot. I mean, even if we do, because they could be a proper battle, and then it could be, the rematch could be even better. But I genuinely think this is going to be the best race of the festival, with the two of them getting there to find out what's going on. And obviously, like it is an irrelevant stat, especially when it comes towards Willie Mullins. But Willie Mullins still hasn't won a Champion Chase. And we talk about Shishkin. Shishkin, like, I like how he tidies his feet and stuff. Like, I think he's clever. I think he looks like a Nicky Henderson chaser, because obviously he is. Undersow was just an absolute different type of horse for jumping anywhere. Like the fact he used to just didn't brush the top of it. Like he'd just take a bit off the top because it was just the way that he went through. Like he was either going to fall or get over the other side. But then sometimes those attributes, maybe in a champion chase at those sorts of paces, like I'm not saying this is the reason that Douvan tipped up or the reason that Douvan did his hip or anything like that, because Willie Mullins wins countless amounts of Arkles and he's winning, well, only just started winning Gold Cups, isn't he? But it does make me conscious of the fact that maybe Willie Mullins chasers at Cheltenham, albeit that Willie Mullins is the absolute master at Cheltenham, maybe Willie Mullins chasers aren't his strongest suit. And Energumene obviously will go out like the clappers out in front. But Shishkin, I would think, I know you don't like he jumping probably does need a little bit of work, but I can't see Shishkin making a career-ending mistake in there or like a race-ending mistake. I shouldn't say career-ending. Whereas I could see Energumene going out so fast that he just twats into one, and then Nico de Boinville sat at the back thinking, I'm not even going to have to hit this flat spot now. But this is it. This is why I think it's so fascinating. Like if Energumene beats Shishkin, then fair play to him. I just cannot see it. I just think Shishkin's too good. So anyway, we probably better ask for selections in this race. Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Shishkin wins every champion chase for the next 30 years. He wins this race. Shishkin's the selection. Daryl?
I don't know. I've sort of kind of, like, I was with Shishkin, definitely with Shishkin, but then like the tactics of the race are going to be so important on the day.
Come on, you Betfair ambassador! Come on, for fuck's sake!
You don't have to pin your colours to the mast, mate. If you don't want to make a decision now, then forever hold your peace. Character. Right, yes, good boy. And then Jamie, you're allowed to make a mistake if you want.
Energumene, all day long.
Oh, but it's not all day long, is it? Do you not after the Desert Orchid, because of the fact that we've seen him now? Do you fancy Energumene just as much or a tiny bit less? He was
Shishkin's only half a second quicker than Edwardstone in Kempton, so Energumene for me.
All right, we'll leave it as that then. This is definitely the race of the festival, though, so I'm pleased that we managed to get to it while everyone was still awake. Right, we'll move on to the next one. It's going to be
the bumper.
Do you want to do the bumper?
That's the next grade one, isn't it?
I mean, it is a grade one. We'll talk about it. Anyway, the next video.
For fuck's sake, Dave. It's the grade one, the bumper.
The next video is going to be the bumper. So either click the link that I might put up after this or YouTube search it.